So who's auction? Are you? Brad's auction, he's doing the auction?
Yep.
Okay, when that's time, I'll.
It's 9 o'clock somewhere.
It's 8:59 here.
Yeah, just turn.
Oh, it just tripped over. Yeah. Okay, it's 9 o'clock. I'd like to call the Codington County Commissioner meeting to order. If you please rise, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Johnson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 2 is a call for public comment. If someone has would like to public comment, they can do it in person or they can use the telephone numbers 605-882-6248 or 605-882-6297. Number 3, is there any conflict of interest?
No.
Nope, no.
Okay. Number 4, we need a motion to approve the agenda
So
for
moved.
2020. Okay, motion by Van Dusen, second by Gable to approve the agenda for September 24th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, we need a motion to approve the September 10th minutes.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Waterman. Is there any additions or corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, number 6, we will have a tax deed properties auction and Chair Powell.
All right, ready to play auctioneer today. Bear with me. Looks like we got 3 properties we're gonna sell. I'm gonna ask if someone wants to help with. Brandon, do you want to help out with keeping some numbers in the building? Or I think Ashley was gonna come later. If we got any big questions, we're gonna have to ask Ashley to kind of help out the treasurer's office today. Not a sheriff's sale, the treasurer's office sale for tax fees. Gotta read something kind of long and lengthy, bear with me. Can everybody hear me? Perfect, all right. All delinquent taxes, penalties, and interest are abated and are not the responsibility of the new owner of deeds. All special assessments, except for delinquent municipal special assessments, SDCL 10-25-12, are abated from the property. Only municipal special assessments, delinquent, current, and future, stay with the property and are the responsibility of the new owner. As per SDCL 10-25-12, the property is also subject to any claims that the state may have in the property taxes, liens, or encumbrances. It is presumed that existing federal liens remain against the property. Any information, questions, negotiations on these liens need to be directed to the appropriate form of government, not the county. The issuance of a tax deed pursuant to SDCL 10-25-12 appears to release all other liens of record against the property, not the person. Examples are county liens, mechanic liens, special assessments of all non-municipal governments, judgments, and mortgages. Codington County makes no guarantee of absolute fee, simple marketable title to the property. It is recommended by the marketable title standards that the purchaser of a county quit claim deed pursue a quiet title action in order to acquire a marketable title to the property. SDCL chapters 43-30, 21-41 are the title standards, and 2601 and 2602. In addition to your bid price, you will also submit a deed recording fee of $30. The payment must be remitted to the Codington County Treasurer by 3 p.m. today of the sale. The payment can be in the form of cash cashier's check, or official bank check, or credit card. The bids will be reviewed by the Codington County Board of Commissioners at their October 1st, 2024 meeting. If the bids are accepted and approved by the board, the chairman will issue the quit claim deed in the new owner's name, record it at the Register of Deeds office, and the original will be mailed to the new property owners after that recording. All right. If you have questions, Ashley will try to help you out here. Otherwise, hopefully you guys have done your homework. I always throw that out there when we're doing any sheriff sale. Hopefully you guys have done your homework on these here. And we will get going. Is there any questions before we get going, for me or for the board?
Is the county aware of any other, city assessments?
Not to our knowledge, like I said, that would be something you'd have to check with the city. So. All right. Can I steal one of these just very quickly here? All right, the buyer will take the property subject to all defects, liens, and encumbrances. The sheriff is not responsible for any misrepresentations or omissions as to the existence of any liens or other encumbrances on the property or about the condition or the value of the property. Again, payment today, 3 o'clock, cash, check, credit card, one official bank check. So give that back to you here.
Is a credit card the same as cash?
Credit card. That is there a fee or anything? I'm guessing what you're asking.
Fee to the card, 4.49%.
2.49% fee on a credit card. Correct? All right. So
Who's got it here?
Me.
she's with the treasurer's office.
Okay,
I'm just like assisting them with this.
okay.
Any other questions before we start bidding here? All right. So we'll start with the first one here. I'll read the legal description. The legal description is the west 2.5 feet of the east 125 feet of lots 10 and 11, block 22, second railway addition to the city of Watertown, Codington County, South Dakota.
Watertown?
Addition to the city of Watertown, Codington County, South Dakota. It was assessed as non-ag. Last assessed value was $1,292. Record 10103. Tax deed issued to Codington County 11/13/2023. I haven't seen these properties. I have no idea where they are. That's the legal description.
Correct.
You, okay, we got a picture here.
On the screen too.
Is this, all right, that's the, looks like the property right there.
2.5 feet.
2.5 feet of the east, 125 feet of lots 10 and 11, block 22, second railway addition to the city of Watertown, Codington County, South Dakota. Everybody see that up on the screen there? Looks like it's our property. Any questions, or I'll open up some bidding here. The appraised value is $500. Do I have a $500 bid? Do I have a $500 bid? Nothing? All right. Do I have a $200 bid? Do I have any opening bids? Anybody want to open up a bid? It's a good 2.5 feet right there. All right.
You can,
No opening bids? No opening bids? All right, I guess we're gonna close that one. It's not sold.
could mow that pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, take you very long.
Nothing on that one. Second one. Outlot number 19 and auditor's plat number 2 of outlots to Henry, South Dakota in sections 5 and 8. Township 116, range 55 west, Codington, South Dakota. Codington County, South Dakota. It was assessed as owner occupied. Last assessed value was $38,143. Record 4716. Tax deed issued to Codington County 11/13/2023. Any questions on this one? Okay, it's like he's got it pulled up. There's a picture of the property. Appraised value is $15,000. I'm gonna open up bids at $15,000. Do we have anybody willing to jump on $15,000? Nobody at 15,000. How about $5,000? $5,000? $2,000? Do we have any bids for the place in Henry?
$100.
$100? Mr. McElhaney's at $100. Do I have $150? Sir, can I get your name?
Jim Boyd.
Jim Boyd? Jim's at $150. Do I have $200? $200 with McElhaney. Do we have $300? $300? All right, Boyd, $300? $400?
$350.
$350? We have 4. No, no 4. $375? All right, $375, Boyd. 400? He's at $375? 400? McElhaney's at 400? Do I have $425? Mr. McElhaney's at 400. Do I have any other bids? 425. 425. 450? All right, Mr. McElhaney, 450? All right. You can have it, 450. Any other bids? 450. Mr. McElhaney has it at 450. Do we have 475? Do we have any other bids? Nothing. Going once, going twice, going sold. All right.
Coat of paint in the front door.
And one more sale here. All right, the last one here is the east half of lots 10 and 11 in block 5 of South Shore on Punished Woman's Lake, Codington County, South Dakota. According to the recorded plat thereof, subject to easements and reservations of record, if any. It was assessed as non-ag. Last assessed value was $11,095. Record 5161, tax deed issued to Codington County, 11/13/2023. The appraised value is $1,500. Any questions before we open up bidding? Appraised value is $1,500. What I have here, okay. Okay, I would open a bid at $100. Do we have $300? We have $300. Sir, can I get your name?
Scott Jackson.
Mr. Jackson's at $300. Do I have $500?
$350.
I got $350. Mr. McElhaney? Do we have $400? All right. Mr. Jackson up front here, 400. We have 500. 450, Mr. McElhaney. We got 500 with Mr. Jackson. 550. Okay, Mr. McElhaney's at 550. Do we have 6? We have 600 here. Mr. Jackson. Do we have 700?
$600.
Yeah,
Yes, we're 600
we're-
right now.
Mr. Jackson's at 600 right now.
$650.
650 with Mr. McElhaney. Mr. McElhaney has it at 650. Do we have 700? We have 700 with Mr. Jackson. We have 750. Okay, Mr. McElhaney's at 750. We have 8. Jackson's at 8. We have 9 or 8. 850. All right. McElhaney's at 850. We have 9 at Mr. Jackson. 950. All right, we have 950 over here. We have 1,000. We have 1,000 Jackson. 1,050. 1,100. 1100 with Jackson, 1150. All right, 1150 with McLean, we have 12, we have 1250. All right, 13. 14,
1350.
1350, we have 1450.
Yeah.
All right, 1450, 15. We're at 1450 with Mr. Jackson, 1450, current bid. 1450, 1000, 1500. All right, 1500 with Mr. McLean. Do we have 1550? 1550 up front here, Jackson. Do we have 1600? No. Okay, 1550 here with Mr. Jackson. Do we have any other bids? 1550 currently going right now.
75.
1575. Okay, you have 1600. We have 1600 up front here with Mr. Jackson. 1650.
You're saying 1550?
We're at 1,600 and 1,600 currently right now with Mr. Jackson. You want to do 1,650? All right, 1,650 with McLean, about 1,700 right here. $1,700 up front here. One out, okay. $1,700 up front here. Any other bids? Mr. Jackson has it at $1,700. Going once, going twice, and sold. Mr. Jackson, $1,700. I think Brenda's gonna have to get some information from both Mr. McElhaney and
Maybe Ashley can get that, we can keep going with the meeting,
Okay.
and Ashley can get, addresses, phone numbers, because when we prepare the quit claim deed, we'll wanna know how your
Okay.
names, how you want that to be listed on there, so if you can give the information to Ashley.
yeah. Well, yeah, would you meet with Ashley? Do you guys wanna meet out in the hallway?
Yeah.
You two, and then the gal right here, actually, I'll help you out and get all the info you need and continue on with this. I'll give you that.
Yeah, money out of
I'm gonna take this last off.
Yeah, money out of the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I know it. I couldn't make 2 rounds on that.
Maybe so, yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to number 7. It's now time to open the public hearing for the Codington County Provisional Budget. So we're open for comment. Not seeing any public comment, we'll now close the public hearing on the 2025 Codington County Provisional Budget. And number 8 is action to adopt the 2025 Codington County Provisional Budget and accompanying resolutions.
Chair,
Go ahead, Commissioner Gable.
should we make the
You
motion?
need to make a motion.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I'll second for the purpose of discussion.
Motion by Gable, second by Van Duzen.
And you said, I have some amendments, so we would maybe do it as one amendment to the motion, just 3 things here, so just let me put this on the screen. So you can see what I'm talking about here. Second. Okay, kind of small, but just 3 things here. One was commissioners repairs under the commissioners budget, so that's activity 111. Under repairs and maintenance, we had a meeting, so Brenda and I met with Connecting Point last week. I think it was Thursday or Friday, and they recommended an email backup service, so that would increase that budget line from $500 to $4,280. So for an annual fee of $3,780 for that that addition. So that was, we think I think that's a good idea to do because we have to be, do everything we can to prevent, cyber problems or cyber attacks. So that's what that's about. And then the rest, immediately after that, the next thing is the treasurer's budget. So we got a request from the treasurer to increase the number of her budget lines, which you can see the difference there that Brenda hand wrote on the same sheet that we're looking at on the screen, but an additional $17,877, and that was for a new employee, so they can overlap with the outgoing employee because of all the things that need to be learned in that office, particularly with the new software system coming online. And then the last one was our discussion about helping with the daycare facilities. So that's taking the line from we had a pledge of $60,000 annually to Watertown Development Company. Thanks to Commissioner Newsom's discussions with them and their willingness to share some of that pledge, so we could allocate $30,000 for the next 5 years to the Watertown for this new daycare facility that's being built at the Mother of God Monastery. So basically that's not an increase, but it's just creating a new budget line and reducing one and giving that difference to the new budget line. And then I just, at the bottom of this sheet, I just want to, these aren't changes, but I just want to highlight. So we need to have the clerk, or I'm sorry, that last line, that $810,000, that's already there. That's not an amended amount. But just to highlight that's for the court appointed attorneys, because that's a very unpredictable budget line. It can be, we've had a few years ago, we had an amount in, over $800,000. So it's very hard to predict. But we're likely to get some help on the revenue side. We just don't know what that is. So we have to use applied funds and, to make sure the budget is balanced. But the state with HB 1057 allocated some money that I think they're going to disperse it probably sometime next year. And then if we have a large court case, just like we did this past year, that cost us over $400,000, we have the clerk insurance pool, basically, or the catastrophic legal reimbursement fund, our program to help us with that. And it did help us in this past year. So that would go into the revenue side. So, but the budgeted amount could be, we're just trying to predict that as best as we can. So I just wanted to point that out. But so I guess I can amend my own motion. So I propose an amendment to take care of these lines in the commissioner's budget, the treasurer's budget, and our pledge to Watertown Development Company and creating that daycare facility activity line.
Okay, there's a amendment by Gable. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Van Duzen. Any more discussion?
Can I just reiterate,
Yeah.
just to make sure?
Yeah,
So I have you increasing the commissioner's budget 3780 in line 425. You also have an increase in the treasurer's budget by 17,877, a decrease in the Watertown Development Corporation of 30,000, and then to allocate 30,000 to the daycare. Okay.
Yeah, and I was trying to follow on that court appointed attorney.
Yeah, that's not really part of the motion.
No.
I just wanted to highlight that so people were aware. So
There's no changes.
No
on that.
change on that.
that's not part of it.
And is that, are you all right there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay,
Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of the amendment? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll vote on the main motion that's been amended. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so I'm going to pass this resolution around. I need each one of you to sign. I need 3 copies. That needs to be sent in to the Department of Revenue, please.
Does that cover?
No, this is on the levy and that is computed by the centrally assessed property. And so that has nothing to do with, so we're good. That is what our levy will be. And the amount that we can actually what's the word, collect in property tax.
Okay, while everybody's finishing signing that, we'll move into our monthly reports and we're gonna have Sheriff Howell come and give his first. A little change of the order.
All right. Morning.
Morning.
Good morning again.
Morning again.
Oops, sorry. No.
Want to pass it down?
All right, we'll get started with the commissary monthly balance sheet. That's the first one on your page there. Well, the bank balance end of August was $22,338.64. At the time the snapshot was taken, the lobby ATM booking kiosk had $3,995.78 for a grand total of $26,334.42. Like I say, snapshot, this was taken, resident balances were $3,729.12. Commissary items tax there, $4,647.63. For a grand total of $26,334.42 down the bottom there. And then if you scroll on down to the bottom there, our commissary commission for August was $1,579.80. Our phone commission for August was $1,926.59. And our kiosk commission for August was $1,982.11 for a grand total of $4,488.50. Which gets remitted to the general fund. Monthly balance sheet on the next page there for the checking account. Bank balance end of August was $9,976.02. You can see there was $25 in copy fees collected. Sheriff's fees collected $8,631.52. Miscellaneous accounts collected $80. Warrant fees collected $350 for a grand total of $9,086.52, leaving our total back to the $889.50. Jump to the last page there. Lee's got it pulled up on the screen. For the month of August, the sheriff's office responded to 679 cases and calls for service. There was 15 accident reports that were completed. 85 warrants were served. 268 civil papers were served and 3,113 transport miles. If you scroll down to the middle there, you'll see some jail activity. Our average daily population was 60.68 for the month of August. Our high ADP was 68. Our low was 55. On the scram bracelet, we had 22 people, 13 people on remote breath. Twice daily PBTs, we had 25 people, and we had 39 people on our twice weekly UAs and 2 people on a sweat patch, for a grand total of 101 people on our 24/7 program for the month of August. And you can see that that's working. 101 people on that program that potentially could have been in our facility. So if you look down, you'll see in our bookings, we had 210 bookings for the month of August. You scroll on down to the bottom there, we collected $18,003.23 for out of county contract. Work release fees, $3,240. 24/7 fees, $6,349. And scram fees collected $4,778. Just a couple of things that we've been happening around the office here. Last week, we hosted a DCI class with the state for local law enforcement at Lake Area Tech College here, with crime scene collection. There's a lot of different agencies that showed up to that. Law enforcement tech students actually got to be involved with a little bit too. So that was a really good class. It was a 3-day class that we were able to write a grant and be able to host here locally for our local law enforcement. So another class that we wrote a grant for that we're getting here at the end of October is a leadership training here in Watertown. It's going to be a regional training for local law enforcement and for people traveling in. It's a 2-day class, end of October. hoping to get a lot of our staff to it. So some leadership training is always good. Another training coming up here on October 10th. I think I copied you guys on the email as well. We're gonna be putting on some training for courthouse staff. An event that something big happens, something like that, to be able to respond to it. It was Alice training is what we call it. So something potentially like an active shooter or anything like that, just to kind of raise awareness on what you can do, what you should do in a high stress event, something like that happens. So that's coming up on October 10th. I urge all the county and state people in the courthouse here to be able to come to that. The email is out there with the dates and times. So that's a good hands-on learning course there that everybody should attend. And next week, the South Dakota Sheriff's Association is actually here in town having their conference. So you'll see an abundance of squad cars and sheriff's vehicles around next week. North Dakota and South Dakota sheriffs will be in Watertown. Be a busy week of training, getting a lot of our staff and correctional staff to that as well. So just a lot of training and a lot of things happening here in busy couple months. So that's all I got taken right now. So
Anybody got any other or any questions?
Thank you, Brad.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
thank you.
Okay, we'll move back up to the top of the list if Rick will come up.
Morning, Rick.
Good morning. Well, our fall mowing has started. We started that on the 16th. They're going out and doing all the county roads. They'll do 2 cuts on all the asphalt and all the gravel roads. They'll go back when they get 2 cuts done, because we try to get 2 cuts done on everything, just in case it snows early on us. I've had to mow out in the snow before, so that's not any fun. And they do that, and then they'll come back, and places where it sticks up higher than the road, they'll go back and knock that stuff down. The guys are also hauling gravel on dark spots. They're working in the west side of the county. They have the northwest corner done. Now they're in the southwest corner. The guys have also put some more riprap down on County Road 23-5, which is 442nd Avenue, that we built up a couple years, and it got paved this summer. And there was no shoulder on it. It's not something that you want to drive on because it's riprap and there's a little bit of reground material on it. But yeah, it's deep water next to that, and it's all rocks going over the edge. So the guys have did a nice job on that. We helped haul base course out of the ag building parking lot. That's in our yard. We'll store that in another area. We don't have a place for it right now to use, but it'll be good material. We have a pile of clay in our yard that we'll put by that. So when we need to build something up, we'll have that. 31st Street, they put the barriers up. Do you have a picture of that, Lee?
Looks good.
It looks incredible.
Oh, find the spot.
Should be able to keep it between the lines on it.
Yeah.
Well, if you go off that, you tried. So it's it's roughly 15.5 feet wide in the middle. So if you had to, 2 cars could meet in there, but there's a stop sign on each end. So the day I sat and watched a little bit, the first car through didn't stop, but after that, it'll take them a little while to catch the stop sign, and it'll be good. So that's completed.
There's a sign about, so it'd be ideal that people take turns.
Yeah, and we just got the signs in that say 1-lane bridge. So there'll be a sign on each side of it. And then back further, there'll be a sign for like fire trucks. There's a weight limit on fire trucks because they've got heavier axles than what a normal truck has. So they can't cross that. There's a load, I can't remember what the load limit is, but our fire trucks won't be able to go across. They'll have to go around.
I sat and watched out there the other day, and two cars can meet on it.
Yep.
I know they're probably not supposed to, but they did.
Yeah,
But
and they
two
could.
trucks couldn't.
No, two trucks here would be a little tight.
Yeah.
You might make it, but you might not.
Rick, that's nice. Thank you and your staff for doing
Yeah,
that.
they did a
'cause, I mean,
nice
that
job.
really looks nice. And I think in terms of public safety, that should take care of our,
Well, that was
Our
the main
concern
thing,
there,
it
so.
was public
Mhm.
safety, and that's why we
Yeah.
spent the money to buy the barriers. I
works good.
overestimated, I have 2 extra barriers, so
Oh.
if you need a barrier, we got one.
We may need that.
Add on.
Yeah, if we have to, we can add on. Like I said, if somebody goes up, that they're trying,
Yeah.
so. Okay, and the guys have been busy. We've replaced some culverts and fixed culverts. We had a few spots where a hole drops in the road and there was just a little gap in the culvert, and we fixed that and replaced it. We'll have some hot mix patches to put down, but Clausen and Sons have been working on the regrade. The west mile is pretty much complete. There's still some base course to haul on it, but yesterday when we were out there, Wayland, we had a meeting, and basically all they have to do is blade the black dirt, and that really looks nice. The east side, there's a buried line. They've been having an issue with one of the utility companies that don't want to move the line in a timely manner. So it may have been moved. So we're still waiting for our striping. The last time I talked to them, they were gonna get a hold of us to let us know when they were coming, and I have not heard anything in the last couple of weeks, so I'm sure they're trying to get other counties together, so when they come up, they've got a group of counties to go through to stripe. And it's all ready for that. The weather's been good.
Rick, let's back up to the 2 mile stretch. Now that's gonna be, so people have the gravel all there.
Yes,
Yeah, just so people understand that.
Yep.
That, it's about done out there then.
yeah. If the last month they could have moved dirt where that cable was, they'd have been done moving dirt. But they've had to wait for this cable, and they're moving dirt now, so. Yeah, and that was a gravel road to begin with, so
Yep.
it'll still be gravel until next year. Okay, my last one, it is election season. I've noticed political signs in the right of way. They do not belong there. If I come across them, either I'll throw them back in your yard, or, you know, if you put them back, I'll take them, because there's nothing supposed to be in the right of way. You can't do anything. You can't put your drain tile, you can't build a fence, you can't do your driveway without getting permission to do that. And like I said, election signs, I don't care who you vote for, what you're voting for, they don't belong there. So that's all I got.
Every election, we have that conversation.
Yep.
Fact.
Yeah, it is.
Yep,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Rick.
you, Rick. Hey, Steve, you wanna come up?
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Steve.
See how long this takes to wake up. All right. Start off. Is that I'm going to skip the ag building till last. So we'll start with the government buildings and detention center. Well, the contractors are progressing well. The air handler units have been completed with some minor adjustments needed to keep the room temperatures correct in various rooms. The sheriff's office, of course, was the last one to get done, and they was bearing heat almost all summer with little temporary air conditioners. Now, when we got it installed, they were freezing. So a little bit of adjustments in there. Then the boilers have been set to run a test by the end of next week, and so we have the boilers up and running and functioning. The storage shed that is west of the courthouse, it is in the back corner over here. That is going to get moved next week, Tuesday. That is going out to the park. The one that is on the east side is going to be placed there. And so that is to make room for the generator that is going to go on the east side of the courthouse here. The new Brightly software system has been implemented a couple weeks ago with a few little new learning curves, of course. And so one of the things is we weren't getting notifications when there was a work order done. So we got that fixed, and then now it's just a little learning how to close them out and stuff. But there are a few people in it using it. We need to get a few more people using that software. Be a little more diligent on using that instead of just telling custodial staff.
I'll be putting in an order, so we'll see.
Okay. Park, there was 1,450 online reservations this year, with 425 offline reservations, with a total of 1,875 that have been made, with 1,537 $379.50 reservations sales, 2,942 point of sales as of this morning, with a total of 157,339.50. There still seems to be a few reservations made with the nice weather. Every day there's one or two, and so we had come for this coming weekend yet, so which is good. One thing I'll kind of note, and so I know with the 425 offline reservations, we did have probably 100 and some just because of the Ventiques for next year is why there's such a number increase from last month. The weed fall spraying began a couple weeks ago. I worked at the weed booth at the state fair, and I felt the attendance and questions asked were very good this year. I attended the state weed commission meeting and tour on September 10th and 11th in the Aberdeen area. Many people at the tour and so said they thought it was very, very well done and enjoyed it very much. West Nile. The staff ended last week of making the collections of the mosquitoes, and so numbers finally fell quite a bit and stuff. So then 3 staff members and I attended the South Dakota Annual Weed and Pest Conference in Aberdeen September 17th. And I've been going to them for quite a few years. I thought this one was really, really good. It really educational compared to in the past. All right, now we'll go to the ag building. The fire suppression system construction project is set to begin next week. The construction of the parking lot started a couple weeks ago. Asphalt, sidewalk, and 6-inch layer gravel has been removed. The drainage in the parking lot and between the extension building and the extension complex and sale ring has been installed. During the process, the major service power that went from the extension complex to the barn was struck. Muth Electric and so that is going in the process to repair that section, so we had to get power back into the barn. The culvert that's in the driveway that goes to the feeds the back south parking lot has been installed, and they are scheduled to start mixing the Portland cement in the parking lot today. All right, in the process of removing the gravel along the barn, the bottom boards along many of the posts are rotten. This is a possible concern while going this was a possible concern while we were going through the engineering processes, that if there was some rotten timber, this is probably not, be unexpected. We kind of assessed the situation when it occurred. And of course, that is what I have on, the agenda today for that, proposal of change. But also, Banner Engineering, the engineers wants to meet and come up to assess the post. I would say at least 50 to 60% of the posts are rotten. Lee wants to pull up the pictures for a second.
Yeah.
Yes, Waylon, you do have copies too. Yeah. And we can do that, but we have, I think we need to have it showed, so.
I'd like to see the,
Yep.
Tell me which one's to school too, if that's.
It's,
little easier that way.
yeah, I don't know how many, you both took what, 9 or so pictures?
I took 20 pictures.
Okay,
20 separate posts. All on the west side.
You didn't run out of film, huh?
They don't use film anymore.
Digital.
Some people said, what is film?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're in tough shape.
Tell me which page to go to.
wow.
Completely gone.
That looks like a thumb.
Yeah.
Look at the progress. I don't think I needed 20
It was
pictures.
kind of hard.
so currently right now, what I have on the agenda is just to replace that board and some of the plywood and stuff like that.
Or this.
Yeah, that board that's all rotted there and those pieces are hanging down. That is what is on a deal. They're gonna come and assess the post. And they're looking at probably working from the inside to probably fix or repair the post and so that. We'll assess that. It's kind of almost suggested probably to pull them out, probably put cement in there and have posts set on the cement in that area. Currently, right now, there is the structurally and so that, there are posts that are probably about 10, 12 feet in from the sidewall. That is actually probably more or less functioning, holding the whole building up from doing anything of literal damage. Of course, if there's a heavy snow load, this will probably not help that lean if there's a lot of snow on the edge of the building, so.
Which side of the building is this on?
This is on the west side. We haven't even looked on the east side yet, so. The east side, of course, the whole east side is cement. On the inside, that's where all the sheet pins and hog pins are at and everything, and so that will have to be looked at from the outside to see what it looks like from there.
We're gonna run into, just an addition, we're gonna start running into, as everybody knows, weather factor here pretty soon.
Yes,
And if we do it from the inside along the west side, we'll have some added time, but on the east side, it's anybody's guess.
right. And then one thing, and so that, of course, we get into November, and of course, we have the Jordan Mack show that brings in probably 300-400 head of calves for showing, so that we have to watch time factors on that too, if it's so bad, so.
Is it not in the sale ring? Is it just in where we house the cattle, the posts that are bad?
I can't tell you, Waylon took a bunch of the pictures, I don't know how many that was up in the north section.
I would say the south section is worse than the north section.
Right, and a lot of that has to do with because when water always come in, it always came inside the barn in there. Didn't really get in the sale ring area, just more or less, and so water would sit there all the time. And that hindered things a little bit more for keeping things rotting, so.
Pretty difficult.
Yeah, it's a shed and I can't remember when it was built. It was in the 60s or early 70s, something like that, when it was. I think it was like, for some reason, a 6 and a 7 rings in my head, but I don't know if it's 67 or 76, but I have to look at the
67.
prints. I think it's probably pretty close to that.
I was here in 76, so I remember it. It was.
But it's typical. I got a shed out at the farm and I've got a couple posts that stand there and you can wiggle the whole post because it's rotted right at the ground level. Of course, that's where everything rots. It's in the 6-inch layer. That's where most everything rots, so.
So if this is repaired and fixed, what's the time frame on when we have to do it again? Another 30 years, 40 years?
I think they're kind of
50
like
years.
shingles. You buy 50-year shingles, so you only have to do it 4 or 5 times in your lifetime.
Unless you get
Hopefully,
hail.
hopefully that's the case, right? But
I think if you know how it lays out there, we've got the water engineered getting way better.
Yeah.
It should alleviate more of that.
That's,
now.
should
that's
last
gonna
way
help a
longer.
lot is the water issue and so bad, because a lot of buildings now, a lot of times. They actually turn on and build a lot of buildings and set on cement, so it's higher level, so you don't have that ground, and because bacteria and little insects actually eat away on the wood, you know, at ground level, so.
Were these creosote posts at one time?
These look like REA creosote posts,
Yeah.
Wow.
so,
Now it's a pump under pressure.
well.
It'll be similar to what.
Of course, the lumber that was along there was, tongue and groove, green treated lumber too. So it's just always affects that, you know, that always happens in that first 6-inch layer of soil. So,
Yep, yeah, I saw those.
If you're curious what a physical thing would look like if we put in concrete, set the posts on, be very similar to what is out at the highway department in that new shed.
correct.
Let's move down to number 10 and take care of that. Discussion possible action to approve the change order on the extended parking lot that we've been talking about.
Oh, wait, let him come up.
Yeah, come up and
Yeah, you come up with
I think he's looking for a house in Watertown.
It's a nice place to visit though.
He likes, I think he lives in Elkton, so I think he's on the city council there.
School board.
School board, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, so maybe just to touch base back on obviously the conversation with the sail ring building there. We had indicated in the construction plans through talking with the committee that we worked with during the design process that it was very likely that the bottom couple courses of the tongue and groove wood paneling that was on the outside of the sail ring building that isn't exposed or isn't visible really until you expose it from the outside, was likely in tough shape. And so that that we would be assessing that once the parking lot material was removed. Once they removed the parking lot, you could actually tell without much expertise in the matter that the wood wasn't in very good shape because a lot of it was just falling off as they were pulling the asphalt away from it. As was noted, the parking lot previously didn't necessarily drain away from the building. The water fell off the roof and collected right on the edge there. And so the bottom two courses of the tongue and groove paneling were in very tough shape. We did have a structural engineer from Banner come up and take a look just to let us know what the recommendation would be to be able to continue the construction of the parking lot and what work would be necessary from the exterior below the grade line of the parking lot. During the design process, we did already include installing a 24-inch steel flashing or coil along the exterior wall that would fit up underneath of the exterior steel siding and then extend 12 inches down behind the new sidewalk and base course to protect from water making its way in, as well as grading the sidewalk and pavement away from the building. That of course is a future preventative measure and not necessarily a measure that can prevent past issues. And so what we did was we requested a proposal from the contractor to replace the wood that would have been exposed from the bottom of the existing steel siding down into the grade in order to reestablish that barrier on the exterior portion of the building. Their contractors, they had a couple contractors take a look at it and they came back and indicated that they felt the most reasonable way to complete that work while not having to remove the wall, the OS or the plywood wall paneling and the steel wall sheeting was to cut along the existing bottom of the plywood
the entire length of the building, install a 2 by 10 inch green treated ground contact rated timber board to the existing posts. We did indicate into that for the posts that are you can see completely gone pretty much at ground level, that they would need to install scab boarding on the interior to be able to fasten the board and maintain it in that location. And then we would install a 1/2 inch plywood on top of the green treated to make sure that we had a flush exterior surface, and then install the coil that was already part of the project. And then as Steve alluded to, you know, I believe that there is considerations for a future, and I would say near future, look at assessing the conditions of the posts and identifying ways to rehabilitate those posts. They're currently kind of holding up the lean-to portion of the building. The main structural frame and rafters are off of posts that are interior of the building, as Steve noted, but that lean-to portion, of course, could still it could suffer consequences, I guess, if there was a heavy snow load or that sort of stuff. That wouldn't be part of this project, and it would not be necessary to be done from the exterior. It could be completed from the interior. But anyways, so this proposal that Dunick provided provides just that, removing the bottom nearly 2 courses of tongue and groove treated wood off of the skirting of the west side of the building, installing and fastening a 2 by 10 green treat ground contact rated grade board to the exterior of the building, and then plywood on top of that. And so the materials cost $2,350, labor cost $6,350 for a total proposal of $8,700.
Motion.
Yep, yeah, we do.
I'll make one.
Okay, motion by Gable, second by Waterman, to approve this change order for the extension building. Any other questions for?
Well,
Go ahead. I was just gonna, so does this is an increase to the overall cost of the project, so.
Correct.
just for a little information, this project has not been started yet.
No,
I've seen some
the
planking.
some planking is there, but it's not been in, no installation.
No actual physical work.
Yep.
Any further questions, discussion?
Yeah, nothing other than Steve and Commissioner Waterman obviously have been involved in the process and took a look at it themselves on site after we had received this proposal and whatnot. So we
Myron.
and Myron, okay, and Myron maybe had taken a look as well. I know he was at the commissioners conference at the time, but so yeah, it's been well vetted, I think, also.
Need to be done.
Probably a good thing we're catching it at this time.
Yeah, it would be very hard to replace this once the new surfacing is in place.
I think for those that, you know, haven't been involved in this, you know, it requires that steel to be lifted all on that west side and then replace the boards and then bring the steel back down, fasten it, make it look like nothing's ever happened,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And it's kind of tricky. That's why the 3,500 or 6350 in labor, very labor intense.
Yeah, it would be, you know, for me, working on buildings and stuff like that before, yeah, you'd have to take the sheets, loosen them up quite a ways up just to get access to getting this all done.
Very good.
Seeing no more discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay,
And I would get on top of those poles, probably can too.
Yep.
I would get on top of them.
Yeah, we're gonna try to set up a meeting so that with this group and so that, and so in the near future.
okay, well, now we can move down to Andrew, if you want to come up for the.
Morning.
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 Sherry and I went to the emergency management conference over this last month.
pre-conference training included partnerships for creating and maintaining spotter groups, which is the class that I went to, and then she went to Emergency Management 102. A lot of very positive or like good speakers. It was a good conference as it has been, I guess, since I've been there. I guess the two ones that really stood out to me was radio updates, just some additional capabilities with the new systems and so forth, some different options as far as, you know, doing like having like FirstNet has a system that they can that's interoperable with the state radio. So I mean, it just provides for a few different options as far as connecting and so forth. If there's buildings that have a difficult time where I mean, you'd have to install a whole new antenna. I mean, maybe that's a different option that we can go with. So I mean, it was beneficial that way. I mean, the other one that really stood out was there's a few sheriffs from South Dakota that visited the southwest or the southern border just to kind of to see the extent of what's happening down there. And I mean, it was, I mean, a good overall presentation. I mean, it was like I've also been down there, and I mean, it was just interesting to see that what I saw, like in the spot that I was, they each went to a different area on the border. A couple of them in Arizona, and one of them was further west in Texas than what I was. But I mean, it was all essentially the same thing, which is, I don't know, just it was eye-opening. Sherry and I took turns. We went one of us each day to an event hosted in town by one of the healthcare facilities, and it was put on by the Department of Health. They called it Operational Coordination 101. It was a lot of review of ICS 300, and then also like somewhat of a tabletop exercise on the back end of it. It was just a good opportunity to talk through what that facility had in as far as plans. Interesting to see like where they viewed us, and we were able to share what our capabilities were. It was just a good overall event. Yeah, a lot of key professionals from that business, and then South Dakota Department of Health and OEM was also represented there. At our LEPC or local emergency planning committee, I invited Kelsey she's the state Sarah Title III coordinator. Invited her to come in and just present, you know, like reasons for LEPC, kind of like why they were founded, go over again, you know, like what exactly we're responsible for. She went over spill reporting and open events, and she was able to share some resources with like our fire department and so forth. We also got the LEPC chooses a project to help with hazmat related I don't know, like hazmat related tools. And we selected a gas or combustible gas detector. So we ordered those and got those in over the last month as well. The Homeland Security Grant Award Agreement for this upcoming year was signed and awarded. And then the agencies that went in on that project with us, I notified them that they could make their purchases. We also got our hazard mitigation emergency preparedness grant award letter. That's another hazmat related grant. This is the one that we typically, or like our fire department, well, a couple people from the fire department go in and teach LATC students about responding to hazardous incidents. And then we also added a commodity flow study on this year's grants. So yeah, just working through, you know, statement of compliance, risk assessment and so forth on that before I sign it and send it back. Doing preparation for our internal exercise. There are a couple of call outs for search and rescue, for boaters in need of assistance, hazmat spill, like where coolant was running into a storm drain, that I helped with clean up, reported to OEM and Danner and so forth. And then, finally, I guess, the outdoor warning sirens for the city of Watertown, we turned those off yesterday. So the weekly siren test is done for the year. Yes, pending your questions, that's all I have for you.
Are you able to attend that meeting that was held by the Corps of Engineers and the City of Watertown? Were you there?
Yes, I did. Yep, I attended that.
And what was your take from that?
There was a
Well,
lot of
there-
proposals that night.
So I will say that it's encouraging to see that the city of Watertown is trying to make steps to mitigate historical problems and, I mean, foreseeable future problems that we have with flooding within the city. I think that there were a lot of people who were resistant to those efforts, and I did not hear a whole lot of solutions from the people who were speaking in opposition. I mean, ultimately, this is, I don't know, the fourth or fifth time that we've done, or that the city of Watertown has done flood studies. And ultimately, we're going to have to do something, or else I guess we're going to I guess we'll not do anything, which is an option as well. And then 10 years down the road, we're going to dish out another few $100,000 for another study. And I mean, ultimately, it's time, I think, that we need to have a little bit of action, and then we can reassess where we're at after those things have been implemented.
Good.
It was very, very well attended.
It was.
A lot of people there. Yeah.
Were you there, Myron?
All right. Thanks.
I'm like putting you on the spot for that question, right? Yeah,
Okay,
definitely a problem.
let's move down to number 11. Discussion, possible action regarding the WIC office space in the Codington County Health Nurse Office. Come on up. Morning.
Are both speakers on? Are the green lights on? Oh, just shoot, there, yeah.
Gotcha.
This one on?
I believe so.
It is, yeah.
Well, good morning. Thanks for having us. I'm Kayla, the dietitian manager for the Northeast region of WIC, and I have Rhonda Buntrock with me today. So we are hiring a position for WIC, a secretary, to help cover services throughout the region. And Watertown is a kind of a centralized location for my region. So I was hoping for space in the current WIC and community health building for this person to be able, to work from.
And they will, like, again, they will be serving more than just Codington County.
Sure.
Yeah.
Talk right into the microphone,
Oh,
so
sorry.
everybody out there
Sorry.
in the world can hear you.
Yeah.
So is there space currently in
There
your
is.
facility?
Yeah, we
for
would
that
have to
office?
put the desk back together, but it is still in the building and stuff like that. So, yep.
I've had quite a bit of communication with Cody, which is our community health nurse in that building. And we've arrived with some, first off, we want to work with you. And the second thing is there is space.
Mhm.
Now, there's a lot of unanswered questions. And I think, and I have to apologize, I probably was a little rude on a telephone when I
You were
said,
fine.
this is a typical state thing where they get the carriage ahead of the horse. And this is what happened. Who in the world hires somebody and doesn't have a place for them to land? The state of South Dakota. I mean, I answered my own question there. But there is space there. But our questions are, this person is hired by not anybody around here, or you or us included, right?
It's a contract.
It's a contract,
Yep.
okay? Who is going to, okay. We're going to put this person in this office down there, and there's a room. But who are they gonna answer to? We don't know, we don't have, okay, what happens? I know that it's going to happen, that there's gonna be conflicts, there's going to be, what happens if there's two individuals that just can't get along. What happens if this person never shows up for work? Who's going to report that and how's the world gonna find out? These are questions that we need to get answered.
Mhm.
We need a chain of command and who's going to be responsible and who's gonna do the evaluation on this person? Will it be done on an annual basis or quarterly basis or what's the deal? What happens if this person doesn't show up for work for a week?
Mhm.
You know, these are things that we don't know.
Right, yep.
And these are the questions that we have. And then, of course, the other question is, as long as I'm throwing questions out here, is what are we gonna charge you for the use of that facility?
Mhm.
And we've communicated a little bit about, I don't know if you've done some research or done any work and we've kind of brainstormed a little bit here, so
Okay.
we'll talk about that as soon as you answer all the other questions.
Right, yeah. So the person would, I want them to let me know whenever they were not going to be at work or anything, but then the contract that we have with them would also be in charge of, if anything were to become an issue, then we would work with the contractor on those issues and stuff like that. I do have staff in the office that would also let me know if this person wasn't showing up.
Yep, and there
For
is
work.
an evaluation process that's already outlined within the contract, and then there's also a process for us to make sure that if we have disciplinary issues or anything like that, that we can deal with that immediately and resolve the issue, so.
Is there a contract?
There's a contract with the state of South Dakota for Career Match Government Solutions, that's who we're working with.
And we have not seen that though.
No,
Right,
No,
that's their
but the-
contract,
that,
but
it's a contract specific
Yeah.
with, yeah.
we will not see it, huh?
Yeah, it's a public contract, so
Okay.
yes, we can, it's out on Open SD.
Okay.
Yep,
So
Commissioner
is the
Gable.
county a party to the contract at all?
no,
So state with the contractor,
yes,
that's it, and so we just gotta trust you that you're the right person in there,
Mhm.
so. So what do we need like an MOU? I'm just wondering, I understand that, it makes the contract cleaner between the state and the contracting company, but, I guess how does what's the county's formal voice? I mean, do we need to have some kind of a memorandum of agreement or something like that between the state and the county so that we can, if we have issues like, Commissioner Johnson mentions.
Mhm.
yeah.
We have a means to, is there
We
something?
could,
in the
we
works?
could we could actually amend the contract that we have in place. The WIC contract that we have in place with Codington County to just indicate that. Whatever language we want to put into that contract to make sure we answer your questions.
Mhm.
And then we could just use that contract as a,
And you could, I mean, that would be the place to include office space. And
Yes.
The amount,
Correct.
I mean, just,
yep,
so,
yep, we could definitely do that. That's not a problem.
Well, it would be good that we had something
Sure,
to lean on.
understand completely.
As I go along here, Natalie, our HR individual, was involved in our discussions and please chime in. You should probably be up here. on my side.
You're doing good.
What questions did we have that I missed? Let's get them on the table right now. And then we'll talk about money.
Yeah.
We'll leave the easy part to last.
Morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Yeah, we're kind of running out of space here, but I'll come over here. I mean, I think that's the biggest
Ladies,
concern.
this is Natalie Raymond. She's
Yeah,
our
we
HR
communicated.
department.
Yes, yes. I think you said, I think it's just like, who do they report to? Who do we contact? Obviously, we are out of space within this building now, I think is, part of the other thing. I think there's not room to add any more people. So just so we kind of all realize that as well. And then, yeah, I mean, I think we talked about putting an MOU together and maybe that's something that if you guys want to draft or we want to draft or.
Yeah, would it be okay to do an amendment to the current contract? Cause then it'd just be
Or
in the
that as well.
contract versus.
I would think
separate
that would be
amendment.
fine.
Rather than a
Yeah.
memorandum of understanding, we
Yeah.
can just do that.
Yeah, I think that'd be the simplest and cleanest way.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine. Now, you ladies have to understand that we lease this building. The county does not own it. And so, we're paying for the use of that building. So when we bring somebody back in, we expect them to pay as well. So now let's talk about money. What did you did you find out anything?
Yep, we reached out to, a gentleman and he had recommended like $300 a month for rent.
And my recommendation is 500.
Okay.
That's my recommendation, along with input from my full hearts here. Just so the commission understands.
I guess my question would be, how are we arriving at those, by the,
How do we arrive at that?
Yeah.
Very simply, we took the rent that we currently pay for that building. And then we divided it up among the people that are in the office and the square footage that they're using. So, I've just worked with another, entity in town here. And they've done some research and the number they came up was with $15 per square foot. Well, that's hard to do because, you know, because that person will be using the bathroom, will be using the break room, or there is no break room there, but whatever, the parking lot, which, by the way, has to have snow removal, which brings out another question that I almost forgot. Now, this employee, what happens when and it does snow in Watertown, believe it or not, and we do get blizzards. And the reason I bring this up is because I ran into it before. Had a call from the State Department saying, why our people can't get to work? What do you mean they can't get to work? Well, the parking lot's full of snow. Well, it does snow here and you got to give them time. That's why we delay our starts till noon sometimes, or 10 o'clock, or sometimes we have to call off work. Well, they're on state contract and our people are counting, but the buildings are owned by us, you know, and the lease is by us. So do we get to make that call? And we say it's a blizzard and the building is gonna be closed. So this person doesn't show up for work then either.
Right.
See, these are things that aren't spelled out anywhere, you know?
Right. Yep.
And we need to get them out on the table, so there's no questions.
Mhm.
So are you agreeable to $500 a month?
Sure.
That was pretty easy. Let's jump it to 7.
We already had our auction.
Yeah, we already got our-
Let's put the middle at 6.
All right.
We would do 500.
Any other thing that we might have missed?
No, I don't think so. I think that covers it. You're wanting them to start when? There is some wiring or things that need to be done yet, which would be at your expense if there is a cost in that. We talked about the pole and I don't even know what it all entails, but
Right, yeah.
something with the wires that got moved that might need to be moved back to accommodate this.
A local
person.
electrician
So-
moved it last time,
Mhm.
but
May I speak?
Yep.
Did contact Ingolstadt, but I believe they'll be in probably in the next week.
Okay.
all right, so Ingolstadt moved it before,
Yeah.
But
but
do
they
you,
didn't finish the job, I don't think.
you have someone coming with the state with bit,
Bit
right?
would, yeah, Bit would do it if it needs to be moved.
Like they can move
Did you
the
hear that,
pole with,
Steve?
they'll do the electrical as well?
Yes.
They'll
that's
do
my
both?
understanding.
Okay.
It's very particular about their project.
Yes,
It's
they
for
are.
security purposes and stuff, so that would be.
Having them.
So there's the guy you need to work with
Okay.
moving the pole. That's not the fire pole that you slide down either, like the fire. What else did I miss, Natalie? Okay, starting date, I know
Starting
that you
date.
have this person, they have this person hired, and all you needed was starting date for that person, right?
Mhm. We got that confirmed the other day, and so hopefully Monday.
Starting this coming Monday.
Mhm.
See, so this is a pretty quick turnaround.
Mhm.
So,
Will that person, because it's our building, will that person have a key to the building then?
You know, we have kind of just said that at this point, we would just like them to come to work when the office opens and leave when the office closes. Because we have the same, you know, I mean,
Yep.
we're just, this is new to us too. This is the first time we've done a contract like this, so we're.
Mhm.
we're all.
No, we're glad to have you as a partner.
Yeah,
We
we
are.
appreciate your
And
partnership.
so, you know, it's.
We're just trying to
That's
make
nice.
sure we're both of our
Accountable.
parties that we're working it out and everybody's got a firm understanding.
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. So I think Scott Gregg, do you know Scott Gregg? Have you ever worked with him? He does our lease agreements, so that would be what we would do for actually the space, the $500. And then we would add to our actual contract, the amended language about who the person's reporting to and how.
Who the
we work
contact
through
is.
that. Yep.
Okay, so now let's not just get up and walk out of here. Who's going to do this? Who's gonna do this amendment to the contract?
That would be me.
Okay.
I'll work
all
on
right.
that.
Can you work with Brenda?
Yep,
She'll
yep.
send it out
I'll
and
send
then
it.
we'll have it on for approval. You'll see it ahead of time and then you'll have a chance to read it.
Yep, and
before
let's
we
make
get
any
it.
comments or anything that you have suggestions on.
The reason I ask these questions is because I taught business management for many, many years. And I taught my students, I pounded and pounded into them, when you're going to go into partnership and with anyone in a business, the first thing you do is you determine how you're going to get out of business. Because it's easy to get in, but it's hard to get out without any lawsuits and hard feelings and whatever. And so that's why I ask these questions. As long as they're answered now, then when something happens, like, is there a situation, if we want out? Is there a 30-day notice?
There is, in the
Is that
contract, that's in the contract, yep,
And I have not seen that, so I don't know.
Yep. yep, that's in the contract.
So I'm shooting from the hip, so.
Yep, and it's
All right,
on both parties,
all right.
so.
That answers my questions, yeah.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we take action to approve. Well, I don't know without having the contract in front of us, so I don't know how the wording needs to be.
Could we do this next week? Could you get this
Yeah,
amendment to the contract done and be here next week?
I will try my
And she
best
could
to do
start,
that.
I mean.
she
could
wants
still
to start next Monday though,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But that's.
but that would be okay.
I think
Could
it'd be
just-
all right,
Approve them moving the person into the space.
Yeah,
Have, you know,
yeah.
and then
Okay.
finalize the contract detail.
and then I don't know how quickly we'll get the lease space to you, but we'll get that done too. So Scott is the one that works on that. So as soon as he can get the
Mhm.
lease written up.
Mhm.
Will that be a separate or is that gonna be within?
That will be a separate.
Okay, that's
agreement.
fine. Just
Mhm.
we'll have two different.
All of that
things.
paperwork should go through, Brent.
Yep, yep. We work
So we get
together.
on the
so-
And just so you all know, Cody, we met with Cody yesterday and had a really good meeting with her and she's said, yeah, she's kind of anxious to get this person in there, you know, to get it. So-
It'll be-
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
we've got a good
Yeah.
team there, so it'll be good.
But it's gonna depend a lot on who that person is.
Yes, very much so.
And you all understand the whys of that. You know.
Yes, yep.
so do I need to make a motion to allow that to go forth without the contract? To start working on Monday? Okay, that's my motion then. I don't know how to word it.
We'll have to-
Contract will be received.
Could you
Okay.
get a name to Brenda as soon as you possibly can? So when this person shows up Monday and we know who it is.
Everybody knows who it is, yeah.
Who it's supposed to
Okay,
be.
so I would make a motion to allow the
What is your?
office space to begin on Monday.
This individual, what's their title?
A senior secretary.
Okay. we'll say
Okay,
that.
senior secretary to begin utilizing office space.
I'll second that motion.
a motion by Van Dusen,
Effective
second
Monday.
by Johnson. Is there any further discussion or questions?
Thank you for coming up
Yes.
and meeting with us nose to nose because that's how you get these things done.
We appreciate
Yeah,
the invite.
thank you for the time.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Seeing no further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Good luck.
Thank
ladies.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving down to number 12. Action to acknowledge the 2024 County Safety Awards.
Okay.
At our conference last week, we had both our Codington County Highway and our Codington County Maintenance. They received the Gold Award and they also received the Platinum Award from the Safety and Loss Control benefits, SDPAA, which is a great help to us with our rates. So we appreciate all of their efforts and work to comply. And there's a laundry list of things that we usually have to change and do. So we appreciate all their work in that. So I guess we can get a motion in a second just to acknowledge
I'll
that.
make a motion that we give these boys a A round of approval. Thank you. Appreciate your president.
Second and vote on that.
No. Yes. Is there a motion by Johnson, second by Gable?
Thank you. Thank you, employees.
And we need to vote.
Yes. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Now we can clap.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to take your thing, but I
No.
just want to make sure we need to make motions on these. And this
Yep.
is another thing we also need to make a motion on. But anyway, the individuals, so every year we recognize also at convention, former employees who have passed away from the year. And those individuals that would have passed away, Lori Hasing, she was auditor's office payroll officer and the sheriff's office part-time clerk. And Jeffrey Hirschman was maintenance department, George Heller, former county commissioner, District 1, Denise Satka, deputy register of deeds and welfare director, and Thomas Burns, deputy state's attorney. Those are the individuals that work for the county and passed away in the past year.
Make a motion to acknowledge the passing of former county employees.
Motion by Van Duzen,
Second the motion.
second by Johnson.
Thank them for their service.
Yep, we're grateful they were willing to serve. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Number 14, action to approve abatements.
Okay, no abatements today. We do have claims,
Okay, we need,
and I think you have those on your desk, your disbursement check register. These were some that were after the fact of our normal bill pay. We also have the 911, so that's included in the end amount, but I will take that off. We'll do that one separate for Troy. So as you look through that whole list of claims, the total amount is actually $50,994.27.
Move to approve.
second, motion by Johnson, second by Waterman to approve the claims for payment. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'll be excusing myself from the next vote.
All right. So that then is the July E911 payment that is made to the city of Watertown in the amount of $36,086.97.
Motion by Gable,
Second it.
second by Johnson. Now, I have a question. Is that the new rate that has gone into effect?
The new 911 surcharge collection, effective as of July 1st. Yep.
It's a little bit more than it has been. It was
Yeah.
like 24 before,
24.
typically around there, 23, 24. So it's a little more.
Okay. Any more questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay,
No budget supplements.
number 17, personnel changes.
We do have 3 of those. Colton, I don't want to butcher these names, but Engslinger, new individual part-time corrections officer in the jail, step 1, $24.81 a month, new hire. Another Matthew Yock, I don't know, correctional officer in the jail, step 1, $24.81 also. This one is a full-time position though. And then we will be having a new deputy state's attorney start October 28th, 2024. They'll be starting Joseph Thronson at step 1, $38.58 an hour.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Gable, that we approve these personnel changes. Any other question? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 18, travel requests.
Okay, so you have one, it's community services. This is a little confusing. It's a back-to-back. So it's a couple days in one place and then travel on to the next or vice versa, or whatever. So it's a little confusing where you're looking at some of these dates, but it's to attend a couple summits and conference.
Move to approve.
Motion by Johnson,
Second.
second by Gable to approve this travel request. Any other question? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay. Number 19, public notice of a possible quorum.
Mr. Chair, next week, so this will be after our meeting next week, but there is a public forum, candidate forum, ballot question, and also a discussion about the county bond election, about the jail detention center. So that's gonna be at I want to say LATC, yeah, LATC, I believe.
October 1st.
Is that, I hope I'm right in the location, so.
I don't know the time.
5:30, starts at 5:30.
It's
I believe.
5:30?
Yeah, the whole thing, but it's gonna be, it's going through, ballot questions, county bond question, and then a candidate forum.
Right.
So it's, be a few hours, but it's interesting. And it's-
Marty-
it gets voters informed, yeah,
Marty Jackley will be there to go through the questions.
I think for the
I've got a couple of things. The planning and zoning monthly meeting has been moved. It'll be this Wednesday night at 7:30. It moved because of the state convention and so on. Then also on Thursday, I don't know how many of you have received invitations for the open house up at Lake Area Technical College. That is going on. And also, I don't know if any of you are involved with the first district. I don't remember seeing it. But the annual meeting is, we have an executive meeting at 10:30, then the annual meeting is at noon. That's on Thursday as well, today, this week,
Busy week.
a day or so. And let's see. That's all I've got for this week.
Any other possible times? Think that probably covers it. Okay, number 20. Any old business? Seeing none. Is there item 21? Is there any new business? Seeing none, now is the time, number 22 for the open. If anybody would like comment, it's open comment. Is there any commissioner comments? Seeing none, there is a need for executive session